Hello everyone. This is going to be an explanation to the Sram or Sram's Shadow class. This class is completely melee based. It has no ranged skills at all and no AoEs. It's designed around high single target damage with additional effects and has the ability to summon a shadow clone to fight for it. It's got three elements: fire, water, and air. The fire and water trees are not typically meant to be used while you're invisible, whereas the air tree is. The air tree is completely for invisible skills. Water is a buff stealing class. It takes AP, MP, HP, lock, and dodge from the enemy and grants it back to the SRAM itself. And the fire tree is meant for straight up damage, and it's also done with the hemorrhage charges that it puts on enemies. Hemorrhage will trigger at the start of the enemy's turn and deal additional damage. As long as you keep applying hemorrhage stacks, they'll keep going up to a max of 100, I believe? Yes, 100. So, let's see. The active specialties are invisibility. This will put your SRAM into an invisible state, making them completely invisible to the enemy. Keep in mind you can still be locked while you're invisible, and that will reveal you, and if you take any damage or heals while invisible, they will also reveal you. It's based on a resource mechanic called perception that basically works as a countdown timer until you get revealed. The higher level you raise invisibility, the more perception you'll have for your following turns. The 300 is static. Keep in mind also, while you're invisible, you'll deal 50% less damage. If this is in a 1 vs 1 fight, it'll be 50% less, but for every additional enemy on the enemy team, you'll get 10% of that damage back up to 100% again. Shadow Trap is useless, I'm not even going to cover it. Scram is a skill that increases your MP based on how far away you are from your enemy. This is good for tracking down enemies, and it also increases your shadowy cloak charges while you're stealthed. Double is probably the most important active skill for a SRAM. It summons a clone that will fight for you and has practically the same damage that you do and access to the same skills you do. However, it does not get any of your AP or MP bonuses that your character normally has. They are stuck at a static 6, 4, and 3. You can only have one double out at a time as well. Diversion is a skill that you can target the ground with that will make the enemy face towards the center of the AoE if they're caught in the AoE. It only has a 60% chance though at level 100, so a lot of folks don't even get this skill. For passives, you have Sram to the Bone, which increases your control, perception, and dodge. Control points are used for getting more shadow traps out, which you won't have to worry about. Perception helps you stay invisible longer, and then dodge will help you avoid being locked. SRAM Reflex is a purely defensive trait that gives you a 20% chance of negating damage that would be done to you, and then causing your character to move back one cell and then gain an additional MP point. This can be triggered while you're invisible and will not reveal you, so sometimes you can save yourself from taking damage while invisible and getting revealed. Master Stabber is two parts. It's a plus 40% passive backstab damage increase at max level. The backstab damage counts as elemental, not total. And then it also gets you plus 5 levels of stabber per backstab hit. This is 5% more damage basically, and this stacks up to level 100 for 100% extra backstabber damage. Look Around You is a passive that has a chance to turn the enemy around and face their backside to you when you attack them with any attack. Yeah, pretty much that. Helps you get backstab hits. Backstab hits by default deal 25% normal damage than frontside hits. And then lastly is Shadow Master. As I mentioned before, water and fire do not benefit from invisibility because invisibility will be revealed if you use any of these skills. The exception is if you use Shadow Master, which at max level will give you a 100% chance to remain invisible if you attack from behind and a 40% chance to remain invisible if you attack from the side. Keep in mind there are skills called Srambush skills, which don't care what skill you use or what position you use them from, they'll reveal your character regardless. These are Trauma, Petty Theft, Sram Shackle, Torment, and Execute. So let's see a demo of the skills. We'll start with the air tree. Fear is a skill that pushes the enemy back, very useful for getting enemies away from you while you're invisible. And the counter to that would be Tricky Blow, which actually makes your character move back a cell after hitting. The bread and butter skill for an air SRAM should be Forceful Blow. It does increased damage if used from the enemy's rear. And lastly, Trauma, which is a very powerful single target skill that has a... well, it's powerful. That's why most people use it. Now onto the water tree. This first one is called Bloody Ripoff. It steals HP from the enemy, but only if you use it from the front or side. And then you've got Swindle SRAM, which steals the enemy's decreases their dodge and increases yours. And then you've got Klepto SRAM, which is the counter to Swindle SRAM. It takes the enemy's lock to give to yourself. And SRAM Shackle, which takes the SRAM Shackle, which takes the enemy's MP and gives it to you. And then lastly, Petty Theft, which is a powerful attack that takes your enemy's AP and gives it to you. Now onto the fire tree, we've got Cold Blood, which is just straight up damage that adds hemo stacks. First Blood, which if used on an enemy that has not taken any damage, will provide a large boost in hemo stacks, otherwise it's just damage. Torment, which will deal additional damage based on how many levels of hemo are on the enemy. Blood Dry, which will add hemo stacks as well as deal additional damage if the enemy is below 15% health. And lastly, Execute, which will deal consume the hemorrhage charges on the enemy to deal a large damage boost. Now, for the actives that I'm going to show you, I'll start with Invisibility. Now, any backstabs that I deal with air damage or side attacks I deal with air damage will maintain invisibility. The enemy cannot see me, and I will slowly lose perception as turns go on. One other important thing to remember about invisibility is that you can summon clones while you're invisible, and they will be invisible until they are revealed as well. And lastly, Scram. And that's it for the SRAM. Thanks for watching.